Well, there's growing concerns that the current crop of GOP candidates are going to hurt the GOP, particularly beyond the presidential race. We're talking about the Senate and Republicans. In fact, recently New York Congressman Richard Hanna said, quote, "The Republican Party is not capable of nominating anyone who is electable nationally." Are GOP chances to reclaim the White House in jeopardy? Joining me now, Congressman Lee Zeldin. Congressman, I suspect you would know Representative Hanna pretty well.
I do, yeah. He's a fellow colleague from New York State, so we see him around a lot.
Have you guys had this discussion in person?
Not about this, no. You know, he definitely has a different take on this presidential race than I do. While we could talk about, you know, the electability of any Republican candidate, the fact is on the other side of the aisle, you're coming off of 8 years of Barack Obama, and they're about to nominate Hillary Clinton, who has a huge cloud under right over her head, and she, you know, possibly did some stuff that might get her into trouble before the convention. We'll see if that catches up to her. So the fact is, there's a very unpopular alternative on the other side, which I think helps the Republican Party, despite people might be in a Trump camp or a not Trump camp.
Right. And I get what you're saying. There's no doubt that Hillary Clinton is a flawed candidate and it's got a lot of Democrats nervous. But the other part of this, the other argument by a lot of Republicans who are saying, hey, you know, where is that candidate that everyone gets around from day one? Is there such a thing anymore as an ideal Republican candidate? Or is there any sort of credence to the sort of observation that Representative Hanna made?
Well, I think the tent is actually getting larger. There's a whole lot of enthusiasm on the Republican side. Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, other candidates have brought people out to the polls so far along the way, you know, especially Donald Trump, who has been dominating social media and earned media. I mean, he probably spent maybe about you know, $700 a delegate in the state of New York. I don't know exactly what the math was, but he spent almost no money in New York. It's just a lot of earned media, new brand. So it's possible that we may actually see a benefit depending on how the rest of this process goes. And we still have a lot of states still to weigh in, still to get their opportunity to vote. And we need to see what the delegate count will be at the end of the process. But if Trump hits 1237, it's definitely his. And if he comes close to 1237, I don't really see how you take it away from him.
Do you disregard the high unfavorables for both Ted Cruz and Donald Trump?
I don't think you can disregard the unfavorables, but I do look at it in the context of the other side as well, and Hillary Clinton's unfavorables. You know, my district, I represent the 1st Congressional District of New York on the east end of Long Island. Donald Trump got 73% of the vote. This past Tuesday, a lot more Republicans showed up than Democrats. Hillary Clinton barely beat Bernie Sanders. And if the general election was today, Donald Trump would easily beat Hillary Clinton in my congressional district. And I think it's a result of not only looking at favorables or unfavorables with whoever the Republican is, but looking at on the other side, you have a very flawed candidate who's very underwater as far as her numbers go. Right.
There's no doubt about that. I did some back of the envelope math, though, and if Donald Trump were to get all of the Republican votes in New York, he would still need 60% of those who voted for Sanders to win. So, you know, New York still might be something of a stretch. And I understand that Hillary Clinton is certainly a flawed candidate. But you have to wonder if some of these Republicans who are concerned that maybe the party should think about this. Maybe the fighting or something has to work out so that the eventual nominee doesn't carry so much collateral damage. I think you would agree with that, sir.
Yes, and if you look at New York, Bernie Sanders won almost every county outside of New York City. Yeah. And when a poll comes out that has Donald Trump down by 15 points statewide, when you take New York City out of that equation, that means that all throughout New York State, you have counties, congressional districts that Donald Trump is beating Hillary Clinton. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from people who say they want Bernie Sanders, but if they don't get Bernie Sanders, they're voting for Donald Trump. Yeah.
Now, if you get 60%, that'd be something. Also, don't forget, though, I think some of those Kasich people may go for Hillary, but we'll talk about that later. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it every time you're on the show. Thanks.